Democrat Party, the liberal media, but mainly the black people. His best, one of his friends, T.I., some rapper named T.I., and P. Diddy, and it's just all the black rappers, the way they are supposedly so enraged because Kanye went to meet with President Trump, Snoop Dogg, all of them. But all it is just reinforcing something that I've known for years. Being part of the black community is, out of all the races in America, the only race that seems to want to have complete control of their people is the black race. And it's been like that for years, wanting to have complete control. The white people, they can be whatever they want. They can have diverse thoughts, diverse ideas, attend diverse things, entertainment, whatever. Nobody cares. Hispanics, Asians, everybody just lives their lives, individual lives, whatever suits them, whatever they want to do. Nobody questions it. Nobody gets in their business. But it's like when black people do that, we have to explain ourselves to other black people. Why would you do that? Or why would you go visit there? Or why would you do that? And this has been going on for years. And to think that you have to have complete monolithic thoughts, visit the same places, eat the same foods. If you want to eat something that's not considered black food, they'll say, well, why are you doing that? Why would you want to try that? It's like black people are not allowed to try different things, new things. If all black people are not doing it, if you do it, then you're acting white. Or you're trying to not be black. You want to be liked by white people. It's just on and on and on. I remember growing up in a small southern town and experiencing that firsthand. And it's in every black institution, it's the same. It's this control thing is in the black church, anything that's predominantly black. We have to control everybody within this organization. We have to know what you're going to do. You have to get some kind of permission. And I'm talking about grown people having to get permission to do something. If you don't, you're going to be talked about. You're going to be shamed or guilted into coming back. Or you can't do that. And it's called the crab mentality. But I think the root cause of this is fear. Because, especially living in a small town, it was always frowned upon for a black person to move away. They would use all kind of scare tactics and fear mongering, even to go get a job. I mean, you could be in this town and you could be broke. But the minute someone says, I think I'm going to move away and get a job, they would talk you out of it. You don't know anybody there. You don't have any family there. How are you going to do this? And it's best if you just stay right here around family. I remember when I first joined the military, I didn't tell anybody in my family that I was going to join. I waited until I had joined and actually sworn in. And we had something that what you call the delay entry program, where you didn't ship off immediately, but you were already enlisted. So I waited until I had sworn in and had to go, and then there was no way for me to get out of it, basically, because I knew how much fear mongering would take place with my family. And here I was, didn't have any opportunities where I was at the time, and I kind of like joined the military out of desperation because I wanted to get my education. No one was helping me financially or doing anything. And I had heard about it from a friend of mine, about a guy friend who was bragging about how he was in the military. He was only in the Navy Reserves, but I was like, well, if they can help him, maybe they can help me. So I had gone to see a recruiter, and I ended up enlisting. But then, right before it was time for me to ship off, that's when I told my family. Now, no one in my family on either side my mother's side or my father's side, had ever even been in the military. But they immediately started telling me that I had made the wrong decision, that they were going to do this to me in the military was going to do that. Now, these are people that had never been in the military, had never left this small town. They were saying this stuff to me. But, of course, and they were sitting there with no jobs, some of them. I had a relative that was pregnant, wasn't married, they were on a second child. I mean, it was all kind of things. But these people were telling me that I shouldn't join the military. I should stay right here, there in that town with everybody else. So anyway, to make a long story short, I joined the military. And after I joined, and I started coming home with brand new cars and nice clothes, the same people said, that's the best thing you could have done is join that military. And I tell any young person, the military is the best thing for you. The same people that told me not to join. So that is the problem within the black community. That's why we can't get ahead as a race. It's our own people holding us back. That's what it is. It's not white people. It's not this. Because sometimes you have to leave to go to get ahead. If what you need is not in that town where you are living right now, that means you need to move away and go where it is, especially a young person. There's absolutely nothing holding a young person back from going and moving around, relocating, and going where the opportunities are. And they did the same thing when it came to college. They told you could only go, when I was growing up, it was only a certain amount, a few colleges that you were supposed to go to. They didn't mention anything else, and they were like an hour and a half away, 2 hours away. They never mentioned anything about all these colleges in the United States. And I actually didn't even know that you could leave the state, because that's all they told you. These are the only colleges you can go to. These are the only ones you can attend. That's how much control they wanted to have over their own people. Even in the churches would tell you where you had to go to college. And if you missed church, if you went on vacation, that was a problem. The only people that were allowed to go on vacation were the pastors. But if you missed a Sunday and went on vacation, everybody had to know, why did you go? Or how did you miss church? And where did you go? I remember being a part of this church, and this elderly lady, she had grown up in that town, but she had moved away, and she had come back when her mother had gotten sick and died. But when she came back, she was an older lady, so she was used to traveling and doing everything. Well, whenever she went on vacation, the whole town wanted to know where she was going and what she was doing. So I had rented, this is before I had joined the military, I had rented this house. She had like a duplex. She lived on one side, which was her mother's side, and I lived on the other. When she would go on vacation, she would have to slip away at night so that they would know where she was, or watch her leave. And so she had told me where she was going, and she said, do not tell these people my business and where I'm going. So of course, she left at night. Well, during the day, when they would see me, they would say, hey, come here, I want to ask you something. I knew what they wanted to ask me. They wanted to ask me about her business. And they said, where did she go? Did she go? Well, I don't see her car. Where did she go? And I'd say, I don't have no idea. I mean, I knew where she was going, but it wasn't my business to tell them, and she had told me not to. But this is how much control they wanted to have over her. And they wanted to know where she was going. So to have to leave your house in the middle of the night to go on a vacation in order to keep people from knowing your business or try to talk you out of it or talk against it, talk bad about it, was ridiculous. I remember when she would come back and she would have different clothes. You know, she'd buy clothes from where she had visited. And it was quite different from the clothes that we were wearing. And so she'd come to church in these new outfits that were different. And they would just talk about her like a dog behind her back. Oh, look, did you see what she wore today? It's the crab mentality, people. It's the crab mentality. And if we, as a race of people, don't start thinking for ourselves. I mean, I left that foolishness years ago. But if we don't start thinking for ourselves and ignore these people, like the way they're attacking Kanye, just because he decided to do what he wanted to do. He's a grown man. You have to realize you are an individual. See, we are the only race that think that we have to do things as a race. We are a group. No, we're individuals. We happen to be black, but we're individuals. We can eat whatever kinds of food we want. We can go wherever we want. We do not have to hang out with a group and do exactly what other people do. Just do what we want to do. That's how you get ahead in life, by taking chances. Not letting people talk you out of it. That's another thing they will do. They will talk you out of taking a chance. With fear and fear-mongering and scare tactics. And there's a lot of brilliant black people that are sitting on their talent because they are afraid to take a chance, because they've been talked out of it. I just want to tell you one more thing about story about a young lady being talked out of something. So I live here in California. I've been living here for years. I came here via the military, and then I was retired. I decided to come back here when I got ready to retire. So I've been living here for years. But at this time, I had only been stationed here in California. I was still in the military at the time, maybe a year or two. And my nephew from my hometown called me, and he says, I have a friend that wants to talk to you about something. Can I give her your number? She's a young girl. I said, yeah, go ahead. She can call me. This young lady called me and told me that she had been out here on vacation, and she had applied for a job as a teacher and had gotten hired on the spot. Now, California, this was in LA at the time, California always has a shortage of teachers, and they need teachers. So I wasn't surprised at that, because I had two friends that the same thing had happened to. They had gone on an interview for a teaching job, and before they could get to the parking lot to their car, they had already been hired. They had got the phone calls that they had been hired, because we really need school teachers here in California. And so she was out here on vacation, and she said she had gone and applied for a job as a teacher, and she had gotten hired on the spot. And the superintendent had some apartments, and he told her, you can even rent an apartment from me. Now, this was during the summer. He says, so all she had to do was go back home, get her stuff, and come back for the school year. When she got home, her mother, she was living with her mother, she said her best friend that she had grown up with, they all talked her out of it. They told her she would fail. Now, when she was talking to me on the phone, she was in tears, this young lady. She says, they all say I'll fail if I come out there. I won't make it. She says, and I'm ashamed to come back home as a failure. And I told her, I said, but you already have the job. How are you going to fail? How are you going to fail if you already have the job? She said, I just don't want to be a failure, and everybody's telling me I'm going to fail. I said, they're trying to stop you from coming out here. I said, you already have an apartment lined up? You already have a job. How are you going to fail? But that young lady had been scared to death by her own mother, her own so-called friend, to keep her there so she would leave. She was living with her mother. She had just graduated from college and didn't even have a job. But she had been given a job, an opportunity, and she let them talk her out of it. I tried to talk to her. I don't know what ever happened to her. But that young lady was, in tears. So that's the crab mentality. That's what we're dealing with in the black race. And what we need to do is get out of there. Leave. Take a chance. Leave that church. It's sad to say, but a lot of black churches are holding people back as well. A lot of black churches are trying to talk you out of leaving too. Where are you going to go? Who else? Or what kind of church are you going to join? What difference does it make? You can find a church somewhere else, but it's all to keep you right there, keep you under their thumb. A lot of them are working with the Democrat Party. A lot of these black pastors are working with the Democrat Party to keep their own people in bondage. And I don't care who gets upset about it. This is the facts. You look at all the jobs President Trump has created. Yet still, they're slamming him from the pulpit every Sunday. Yet Obama didn't do anything, but they still loved him, even when he championed same-sex marriage. Now, as a Christian, that's against the Bible, but they didn't say a word. Even when he championed transgender bathrooms, where he's allowing little boys to go in the bathroom with little girls, they didn't say a even though he championed taxpayer-funded abortions. None of these black pastors said a word. Yet he didn't create any jobs for black people. The only jobs that were created were part-time jobs, if that. But a lot of the black people, the food stamp rolls increased. It was more black people on food stamps under Obama than any time in history. These are facts, people. The black pastors didn't have to say a word about that. Yet here it is. President Trump has created all these jobs. Black unemployment is at a historical low. And these black pastors can stand in the pulpit every Sunday and attack this president. And for what? Just because he tells black guys who have been afforded the opportunity to use their talent that they themselves have perfected. These football players, they have perfected that talent. And they have been afforded an opportunity to make millions of dollars. They play football in these stadiums filled with white people. That's who's buying these tickets, white people. Yet, all President Trump has told him to do is respect the flag, respect this country that has afforded you this opportunity, and the black pastors are spewing hate from the pulpit because of that, and calling him a racist because of that. But it's not that. I don't think that's what it is. I think they are trying to keep the flock in the fold too. They're trying to keep the black people on the plantation as well. Because let me tell you something, economic freedom is something. If somebody's economically free, you can't control an economically free person. With all these jobs being created, black people can be economically free. But if you have somebody that's living from paycheck to paycheck in this small town with this one little job, and they won't leave and go get another job, you can control them. You know why? You can tell them, God's got a blessing for you eventually. Just keep coming here. One day God is going to bless you and you're going to get a blessing. Just keep coming here. But the minute you say, well, I'm going to move to another city where a job is, they'll tell you that's not God's will. Do you think God wants you to do that? Did you pray about that first? These are the scare tactics they use, people. These are the scare tactics. And I just felt like, it was bothering me this morning. And I just felt like I needed to just say something about that. I just needed to address that. Because I'm on the side of every American. I want every American to succeed. But it angers me when I see my own people being held back by black people. They're not being held back by white people like they say. White people are not oppressing them. Who's oppressing Kanye? Is it white people or black people? Who attacked him and called him all kind of racist names? Was it white people or black people? Who did it? Just think about that. Have a blessed day.
Amen.